Imagine someone collapses on a busy street. Dozens of people walk past. No one stops. No one calls for help. And somehow, in a crowd full of people who would each describe themselves as good, caring human beings, a stranger lies there alone. That is not a story about cruelty. It is a story about your brain. And once you understand what is actually happening inside it, you will never look at a crowd the same way again. The year is 1964. A young woman named Kitty Genovese is attacked outside her apartment building in New York City. The assault lasts more than half an hour. Reports at the time claimed that 38 neighbors witnessed it and did nothing. The story exploded across the country. Newspapers called it a symptom of urban decay, of people becoming too cold, too disconnected, too selfish to help. But two psychologists refused to accept that explanation. John Darley and Bibb Latané looked at those 38 witnesses and asked a different question. Not why were they cruel, but why did the presence of so many people make helping less likely, not more? What they discovered rewired how we understand human behavior forever. In 1968, Darley and Latané ran a now-famous experiment. They brought college students into a room, one at a time, and told each student they would be having a group discussion about college life over an intercom. The student would talk, then others would talk. The student believed they were speaking with 1, 2, or 5 other participants. In reality, there were no other participants. It was a recording. Midway through the session, one of the recorded voices began choking, gasping. Then silence. When the student believed they were the only other person on the intercom, 85% of them left immediately to get help. When they believed there were 4 other people listening, only 31% helped. The same person, the same emergency, the same choice. But the crowd in their mind cut their response rate by more than half. This is the bystander effect. And it is not a flaw in bad people. It is a feature of the human mind that shows up in almost everyone, including you. Your brain does 2 things when it senses a potential emergency in a crowd. The first is called diffusion of responsibility. When you are alone and someone falls, the entire weight of that moment lands on you. You feel it. Your nervous system responds. But add a dozen other people, and your brain automatically begins distributing that weight. Someone else will help. Someone who knows more. Someone who is closer. Someone who is already called. The responsibility dissolves into the group like a drop of ink in water. No one carries it fully because everyone assumes someone else is carrying it. The second thing your brain does is called pluralistic ignorance. You look around at the other bystanders. They look calm. They are not running. They are not on their phones. They appear unbothered. So your brain concludes that they must know something you do not. Maybe this is not actually an emergency. Maybe this is normal. Maybe reacting would be embarrassing. And so you match their stillness. And they are matching yours. An entire crowd of people who are privately alarmed, each one looking to the others for a signal, each one receiving only calm in return. The emergency never registers. Not because no one cares, but because everyone is too busy reading the crowd to read the situation. Researcher Stanley Milgram, who spent decades studying the relationship between individuals and groups, described the city as a place where people develop what he called mental withdrawal, a kind of managed inattention that protects the brain from constant overwhelm. This was never meant to be callousness. It was cognitive efficiency. You cannot respond to everything, so the brain learns to filter. And crowds train it to filter out distress, signals that might otherwise be impossible to ignore. The problem is that this mechanism does not know the difference between a stranger asking for money and a stranger having a heart attack. Here is what makes this even more unsettling. The bystander effect does not require a crowd of strangers. Research by social psychologist James Wren showed that the effect emerges even in groups of people who know each other. Familiarity with the group members slows response time because the social calculation gets more complicated. You do not just worry about looking foolish in front of strangers. You worry about looking foolish in front of people whose opinion of you matters. Your brain is performing a rapid cost-benefit analysis in the background, mostly outside your awareness. The cost of helping could be embarrassment, disruption, wasted effort if you were wrong about the emergency. The benefit of helping is abstract, distant, uncertain. And in a crowd, the cost of not helping feels low because it looks like a shared decision. But here is the counterintuitive twist. The very thing that suppresses helping behavior can also, in the right conditions, be flipped to activate it. In a 2011 study published in the journal Psychological Science, researchers found that when individuals in a crowd were explicitly assigned responsibility, even verbally, By someone making eye contact and saying the words used specifically, the bystander effect collapsed. Not reduced. Collapsed. The diffusion of responsibility reversed the moment it became personal. The moment one person stopped being part of the crowd and became an individual with a name or a gaze or a direct instruction, their brain recalculated. The weight of the moment landed back on them, and they acted. This is the hidden key. The bystander effect is not about the crowd. It is about anonymity. It is about whether your brain experiences a situation as yours or as everyone's. The crowd provides cover. Remove the cover and the human instinct to help floods back in almost immediately. Researchers have also found that people with training in emergency response are significantly less susceptible to the bystander effect, not because training makes them braver, but because it removes the ambiguity. Your brain hesitates longest when it is not sure whether this qualifies as a real emergency, whether it is your job to respond, and whether you have the tools to help. Training answers all three questions in advance. It turns the freeze into a reflex. Which raises an uncomfortable question. How often have you been part of a bystander crowd and not known it? The bystander effect does not only happen on streets. It happens in offices when everyone notices a problem and assumes leadership will handle it. It happens in comment sections when a person is being targeted and thousands of people see it and scroll past. It happens in group chats when someone sends a message that clearly calls for a response and everyone waits for someone else to be first. The crowd is everywhere now. Digital spaces have multiplied it. You are never just one person watching. You are one of millions. And your brain, which evolved to read small social groups, is running its ancient crowd-reading software on a scale it was never designed for. Social psychologist Ervin Staub spent much of his career studying what conditions produce helping behavior in exactly these high-stakes, high bystander situations. His conclusion was straightforward. People help when they feel personally responsible, when they feel personally capable, and when the cost of not helping feels real to them. The intervention is not heroism. It is specificity. Name the person. Make the task concrete. Remove the ambiguity. If you ever find yourself in an emergency surrounded by people who are not moving, you now know why, and you know what to do. Do not shout for help to the crowd. Point at one person. Make eye contact. Say, "You in the blue jacket, call an ambulance right now." That one act of specificity collapses the diffusion. It pulls someone out of the crowd and hands them the weight, and they will almost always take it, because the instinct to help is still there. It never disappeared. It just got buried under the noise of the group. The day Kitty Genovese was attacked, 38 people made the same calculation in parallel, each one waiting for someone else to take the weight. None of them were monsters. None of them had decided not to care. They were ordinary people caught in an ancient mechanism that was never designed for that moment. And the next time you walk past a stranger who might need help, and you feel the pull to keep moving because someone else will surely handle it, you will know exactly what is happening inside you. The crowd is thinking for you. And now, for the first time, you can think back.